It's a new week, and we're heading to a new state. We left Kirby, Arkansas on Sunday morning and headed towards Marshall, Texas. We chose this city in East Texas because of its proximity to the beautiful and eerie Caddo Lake. We stayed at Nature's Design RV Park, just outside of town. This was a small RV park that offered full hookups, a bathroom and shower, laundry, a dog park, and hiking trails. It was close to town but still quiet, and we enjoyed our time here. Marshall is a neat old city and the county seat of Harrison County. The county courthouse sits in the town square and is a beautiful display of history and architecture. It is surrounded by a quaint downtown and old brick roads. After work on Tuesday, we took a drive to Lake of the Pines, about 25 minutes away. We parked at an overlook near the dam and walked the dogs down to the lake to watch the sunset. For dinner, we stopped at Porky's Barbecue in Marshall. They are known for their fried fish dinner, which I had to try. It was very good. Keisha ordered some pulled pork and a hot link, which was good as well. We split a fried chocolate pie for dessert. Yum! On Wednesday, we drove to Jefferson, the next town over that is chock full of history and is said to be the most haunted city in Texas. Jefferson was founded in 1841 and began as a port city, as at the time there was a giant log jam on the Red River which caused Big Cypress Bayou to be wide and deep enough for riverboat traffic. Population boomed at this time until in 1871 when the Army Corps of Engineers were able to clear the giant log jam, thereby lowering the levels of Caddo Lake and Big Cypress Bayou. Since then, Jefferson has become more of a small town with historical charm and stories of haunted houses and hotels. We did the nature walk at the Port Jefferson Historic and Nature Center, but first we had to get by this creature guarding the entrance. The nature walk included a trail that went along the Big Cypress Bayou and under the historic railroad trestle, eventually leading to a boardwalk that took us into the woods. Here we saw this cool little shack and some art installations, including these kind of creepy fence posts. It was a fun and short walk, and afterwards we strolled through downtown Jefferson for a bit. It was fun seeing the town decorated in Christmas lights. We visited the Jefferson General Store, which is full of all kinds of toys, candies, clothes, gifts, and anything else you can think of. We ordered some ice cream to go and continued to walk around the city at dusk before heading home for the night. Thursday was Thanksgiving. Keisha had the day off, so we decided to drive to Caddo Lake State Park and do some fishing on the Big Cypress Bayou. You do not need a license to fish in Texas state parks, which is definitely a plus. We enjoyed sitting by the water and looking at the cypress trees covered in Spanish moss, but we did not catch a thing. After packing up our fishing gear, we hiked the Caddo Forest Trail, which was a fairly easy trail that took us through the forest and up some steps to a pavilion built by the Civilian Conservation Corps. We also checked out Sawmill Pond while we were at the state park. This little pond has an observation pier where you can get an up-close view of the cypress trees sitting in the middle of the water. It was pretty neat. We enjoyed our time at Caddo Lake State Park and would probably visit again on a less busy day when we can rent a canoe and paddle through the bayou. After leaving the state park, we drove to the Caddo Lake National Wildlife Refuge just down the road. This refuge used to be part of a large Army munitions plant. There is an unmanned visitor center that has a lot of information about the landscape and the wildlife in the area, as well as information about the munitions plant and ordinances that were manufactured here. You can drive down the many roads of this refuge that are part of the auto tour route, which takes you past the dense forest and ruins of the munitions plant. After spending our day in the Caddo Lake area, we headed back to the camper and had our little Thanksgiving dinner. On Saturday, we traveled back to Jefferson so we can check out more of this neat town in the daylight. There are so many cool buildings here, as well as an old passenger rail car on display. For lunch, we tried Kitt's cornbread sandwiches. I ordered the Texan, which comes with a boatload of chili, and Keisha ordered the Sicilian, which was beef and turkey pastrami with provolone cheese. The sandwiches were good, and we followed them up with a slice of frozen peanut butter pie. After lunch, we drove to Caddo Lake again for a pontoon ride down Big Cypress Bayou and into a cypress forest. Captain Ron's swamp tours are the #1 tour of Caddo Lake and is very much worth a ticket. Captain Ron took us and a few other guests on a wonderful pontoon ride through Caddo Lake, giving us an interesting history of the lake as well as facts about the cypress trees and Spanish moss and wildlife in the area. We slowly rode through a cypress forest, and it was just incredible to be so close to these eerie but gorgeous trees and the Spanish moss that hangs from them. We learned that the Spanish moss is not moss at all, but an independent plant life.
Now the first cousin to that, it's not a moss. Its first cousin, you know what it is? Is the pineapple. First thing you'll look up is its kin to the pineapple.
Oh, no.
The closest thing kin to it is the pineapple. Y'all, in the summer, our little tree frogs that are going late in the afternoon, they really kick in, and they will compete with the cicadas in the distant foreign land, and they will try to synchronize. You know, the cicadas are going ring or ring or ring, you know. Well, the frogs will try to match that. It's funny to listen to when you realize what they're doing.
Captain Ron was very informative and easy to listen to, and the pontoon ride was so worth it. We had a great time on this tour. After the swamp tour, we drove to the Louisiana side of Caddo Lake. We stopped at Earl G. Williamson Memorial Park in Mooringsport and watched the sunset on the lake. Caddo Lake is so interesting and beautiful, and we had a wonderful time exploring it on foot and by boat. We enjoyed our time in Marshall, Texas, and loved checking out the nearby town of Jefferson. East Texas has a lot of hidden gems, and we would love to come back again and see some more. Hope you enjoyed.